So my first squad was fugitives, and it was fun. Like we just went out and just arrested, because so many fugitives come to South Florida. And at one point, though, about a year in, I'm helping teaching a safe streets class to the other squads, and the organized crime squad was out there. So they break for lunch. I brought my lunch, and the supervisor was there, and he starts asking me about my background, and I tell him about New Jersey and growing up with mob guys, since he works on a squad, the mob, and then tell him, I was in the Marines, and between the Marines and FBI, I did some private security on a guy who owned a yacht type of thing. And he just looks at me and goes, "Would you like to do undercover?" And I'm like, well, that's one of the things I've always wanted to do, but normally in the Bureau, you got to have 5-7 years before they even start looking at you do undercover. He goes, "Well, we have a case where we really need someone with your background. It's a mob case. There's some other people involved, but there's a yacht involved and a nightclub, and we need a younger guy to watch. There's a main undercover, and there's someone else we're working with. We kind of need a young guy to be able to watch over things, not a main player in the case." So that's how I ended up getting picked for that, and ended up doing that 2 years deep cover against the mob. And part of it was I was supposed to be a bit role player, but the mob guy liked me. I was an Italian kid from Jersey. They liked the fact I was in the Marines and was very respectful, because if you know the mob, it's a very organized hierarchy thing. But also, if you grow up, like, you can get in trouble talking to the wrong person. There's people, like, if you're associate, who you're allowed to talk to and not allowed to talk to. And if you mistakenly do that, you can get hurt, just not that they know you're a cop, because you're doing things wrong. So having grown up in that, I kind of understood where that was. And I ended up doing fairly well in it, because they kind of took to me. The main undercover, he only came in a couple weeks a month, if that. And I was taking care of his yacht, his nightclub, and all this other stuff. So we ended up doing more and more. And that was really kind of unheard of, doing it that young, because I ended up interviewing with Joe Pistone, the whole book, Donnie Brasco. He gotten back in the Bureau when Louis Freeh came back in, because he really was wronged at the end of his first FBI thing. But he was working down here, and they said, "Hey, if you interview with him and he says it's okay for you to do this undercover, we'll allow it." And I went in, and he was like, this mob guy, like in this offsite, undercover thing. And we end up, he knew the town I grew up in, because when he was doing his 6 years undercover, his family lived in the town next to me. He actually asked me, "Do you know the girl by the name of blah?" And I won't say her name. And I said, "Yeah, I know her." He goes, "How do you know her?" I said, she worked at the gym I worked out at. I probably asked her out every day, because she's really good looking. If her steroid boyfriend ever found out, he would, beat me up. And it turns out it was his goddaughter. So we started talking about different people that we knew in the town. And a couple of them I knew personally, because I dated someone's daughter or whatever, that he knew the father from the mob thing. And we happened to be, I think, at a location together before someone went to jail. They were having I was there with the guy's daughter, dating her, and he was there as, it was crazy. But at the end of it, he really did say, "Hey, look, you're going to do fine against the mob guys. They're going to like you, because you understand them. What you're not going to understand, all your stress is going to come from the Bureau."